would like to make a correction to the minutes. It should be titled Bazetta Township Trustees Meeting Agenda. And I'll have the fiscal officer take a roll call.
Vice Chairman Trustee Paul Hill. Trustee Frank Clark.
Here.
Chairman Trustee Ted Ross.
Here.
Okay. This meeting is being recorded for informational purposes only. All comments will be taken at the end of the meeting. If anyone has a question or comment, raise your hand. You'll be recognized by the chairman. Come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Multiple speakers at the same time will not be allowed.
Thank you. 299-18, to accept the minutes from the November 27, 2018 regular meeting. I'll second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 300-18, to accept the minutes from the December 4th, 2018 special meeting.
I'll move.
Second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 301-18, to authorize the fiscal officer to pay all outstanding invoices incurred and approve all warrants issued.
I'll move.
Second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 302-18, to authorize the fiscal officer to perform the following transfers as listed below.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 303-18, to authorize the fiscal officer to make the following supplemental appropriations and inform the Trumbull County auditor of such.
I'll move.
Second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 304-18, to accept or reject the Bazetta Township Insurance Committee's recommendations, see the attached, for health insurance plans for the employees in the 2019 year.
I'll move.
To accept?
Accept.
To accept. I'll second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. Now, should there be another resolution that we're going to fit in that we're going to provide that was at the end of the meeting? Well, actually, we could do that in our year-end organization.
That's fine.
Okay, just add that to the agenda. Correspondence, copy available upon request. Administration, anything to report? No report. Chief Lewis, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A monthly report was submitted for October. The fire department monthly report was submitted for November. We ran 115 calls for the month of November, 80 being EMS related. All else I have for the agenda tonight is the part-time wage increase compensation package. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 305-18, to accept the following attachment for part-time fire department employee compensation.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. And fire department's November 2018 monthly report is attached. Police department.
Attached is our November monthly report and just the items on the agenda.
Okay, thanks. Okay, 306-18, to accept the attached retirement letter from Chief Michael J. Hovis, effective December 31st, 2018, and waive the 90-day notification per article number 15 in his contract.
Right, because he's been on sick leave and he's going to continue on sick leave.
Yeah.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 307-18, to allow Chief Hovis to purchase his, I'd like to change that to duty weapon for $1 per contract.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee West.
Yes. 308-18, to appoint Sergeant Christopher Herlinger as acting Chief of Police effective January 1st, 2019.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Webb?
Yes. 309-18, to accept the resignation of full-time officer Corey Burns, effective December 31st. See the attached letter.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Webb?
Yes. 310-18, to hire part-time officer Michael Walker as a full-time officer to replace Officer Corey Burns, effective January 1st, 2019.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Webb?
Yes. There was the police department's November monthly report attached. Road Department Superintendent Park.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have a couple things I'd like to discuss. One, our MS4 EPA report is due in December. I was asked to go over a few different situations to take care of roads, and I've compiled that information. The first one, I'm sure quite a few of you have heard me say this before, was a special assessment district. This is one way that the residents in a development can go and have their roads all redone with a tax assessment, and those roads and those developments are the only ones that can get paid. Second is a bond. This is similar to the information that you gave me to Mr. Webb. These bonds, they're different as far as how many years you want to do them for and the amounts of millage that you can do them for. You can kind of write it any kind of way that you want, as far as just for road resurfacing, road improvements and drainage projects, and they're kind of like a levy without a renewal. Once it's voted on and it passes, it goes the X amount of years for X amount of monies, and that's it. It's not put back on the ballot for renewal or anything like that.
Question.
Yes.
In a situation like that, I know that we're going to, if we were to go this route, we have some roads that have been recently paved or will be soon to be paved.
I can hold on to that money and repave them when we feel it's fit for those roads to be repaved. We don't have to pave over new roads.
Okay, so
That was one of my worries with the way that was, and we don't have that many road miles that we would have to really worry about that anyhow. I mean, most of our roads are paved. And then thirdly is just a regular road levy that can pretty much, and I have some discussions with Paul about this, and if we go for a road levy, yes, we will pave some roads. Our levy failed by 163 votes. I'm sure most of you guys know that out there. I've been discussing with Paul about expanding services to county and state roads, as far as like a curbside cleanup, like a spring cleanup like the city has. There's some issues with that we would have to sort out. That has to do with one particular, we would have to set up with one particular garbage, and then that garbage company would pick up the whole entire township. We've discussed leaf and branch cleanup, but I feel that if we could expand those services to state and county roads, we might have a pretty fair shot. Yes, it will put a dent in road paving, but on the other hand, we will offer more services to everybody, which isn't too bad. I would like us to go for a road levy. There's some things, some bonuses that we could get with that, other outside of and increased services, like maybe getting a used street sweeper. I would love to see that. ride motorcycles. I'm an avid rider, and those BBs on them intersections in the spring and in the late fall, and they kind of bothersome to the people on the bikes. So I would like to kind of see us do that. That's the benefits of the road levies. One thing that I've been worried about is if like a SAD, in case somebody, like, let's just say Ivy Hills or Timber Creek or somebody like that got this SAD pass. Well, and then we touch base with and expand services with state and county roads and do a cleanup and some branch and leaf pickup and stuff like that. Well, then we get a bond or a levy pass on top of that. Those folks are going to double pay, which probably isn't, which is not really that nice when it comes to tax time. So, if we do go for another levy, I would ask that we probably hold off on any SADs until that levy goes through the voting process, and we'll see what happens with that, just to protect the citizens.
We have until the end of the month before we have to make up our mind.
I think we can really January.
Okay.
Yeah, it just needs to go through 3 meetings in
Okay.
90 days or something like that.
Yeah, if we have to.
And the only thing I have else is on the agenda, and that's, thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks for the information.
Excuse me, what's the timing on presenting whatever you present? I heard you discussing that, I'm sorry.
It's, we have, it has to be completed 90 days prior to the election, which would be, the election would be the first Tuesday in May. And so it looks like it's probably going to be late January, early February, and we have to complete 3 meetings to be able to put it on. So we have time, but it's starting to
Getting close.
get close, yeah.
What's the cost for that, put it on in May?
If there are other items on the
Well,
ballot,
that depends.
we would share certain amounts.
I think,
Well, we gotta think about the park.
Yeah. Okay, 311-18, to allow Trumbull County to advertise for bids for the Beaver Trail resurfacing project.
I'll move.
Second?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Excuse me,
Sure.
can I expand on that just a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, this advertisement for bids with Beaver Trail, it was a first grant that pretty much anybody's ever got, with the small local shares we put towards it, which is in-kind service from Trumbull County at $5,000. And it was like a $47,000 grant with $54,000 loan, and they soon after, I believe, changed the rules. So yeah, and we're saving the advertisement for the project when Trumbull County bid it out for us. So
And you might also mention that the loan is an interest-free.
it's interest-free for the life of the project, which I believe was 15 years.
That's what I thought.
they're doing all of Beaver Trail, is that what's gonna happen?
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Cemetery, 312-18, to modify the current township cemetery rules as written below. And primarily, what we're doing is we're increasing the traditional cremations from 2 to 6. Is that correct, Thad? No, what are we doing?
Adding second interment rights.
Second interment rights, did we ever have?
No,
We never had that.
it started a couple years ago with the increase in cremations.
Okay.
So, we have allowed since 2012 6 cremations on a lot, but you only charge for 1 lot. So you're losing all that extra money on them. So what happens is you charge half the price of the lot, second, third, fourth interment
Up
rights.
to the maximum of 6.
Yes.
All right, so as it's written below and presented, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Webb?
Yes.
Question.
Planning Director, Zoning Inspector, and Code Enforcement Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report's in November of 2018. There were 3 permits issued. One was an agricultural building. The fees collected for the month were $253. Come follow up on the complaint regarding parking junk vehicles in the front yard on Route 46 has been cleared up. And the removal, I believe, Chris, the mailbox has been dismantled in Wilshire.
Yes, sir, there's a minion there now.
An engine?
Oh, what? Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
Hope you
blow-up
stressed one.
minion thing, Chris.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Zoning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals, I believe that the Zoning Commission will hold their first quarterly meeting in January, on January It'll be on January 9th at 6:30 p.m. here at the admin building. Parks and Recreation Committee, I don't see anybody here tonight. Nothing to report. Okay. 313-18, to remove Steve Belcher as a park board member and chairman.
I'll move.
And that was at the recommendation or request of the park board.
I'll still move.
Okay. I'll second.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
I think his term was up at the end of the year.
Yeah. 314-18, to accept or reject proposed recommendation of placing a park levy on the May 2019 ballot.
When we hold off on that, can we table it until fall comes?
We've already tabled it once.
Can we do it twice? I'd like another trustee to sit in on that,
Yeah,
because we're not gonna do anything with the road or anything. Is that all right with you?
let's table it for that one. Yeah, let's just, I'll ask for a motion.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ask for one more motion. Okay, another motion? No motion, so it has died for a lack of motion.
I just think all 3 trustees should be
If we're
on
gonna,
the same page.
yeah, if we're gonna put letters on that. Okay, that'll take us to the next segment, which will be, has to be placed on the agenda, Ms. Robin Hyman.
Okay, before I do what I wanted to be placed on the agenda for, I have a question about this cemetery thing. So,
Stand up, come forward.
so you're saying that to somebody that even owns graves there now, that the precedent that's been set is that, like, I put my father's ashes down on my mother's grave. My grandmother went down with my mother, her ashes. Okay, so you're saying now, if I have a grave down there and our ashes want to go in there, you're saying that the second person's ashes, now you're going to pay what? Because we purchased these years and years ago, my father bought them. So how can you go back and say, since that precedence with this family has been set to do that, that now we're going to change it and you're going to have to pay half of what that fee was for each person put down there? Like, is that changing? Is that what, I'm trying to figure out what's happening.
Is that changing on the on the already bought ones?
Yes, it's just a fee added to the fee schedule. It's like changing the rates of burials.
Now, what does it cost? But there is a fee to put the ashes down
It's just
in
the
now.
opening and closing.
Just the opening and closing. I don't think that's a good idea to go back and change it for people that have lived in this community for years, and they know that and done that, and because I didn't die yet, now you're gonna say, well, now we're gonna change that after your family has done this. Now, if you wanna say from this point on, for these graves, this is what we do, but I don't know how you can go back and do that. I don't think you can do that. I don't think that's fair. I don't.
Can you go back and say, starting 2019
Right,
to buy a grave space.
right, there is a fee for it, there's an opening and closing.
Yes.
And the people that have.
But you're only allowed 2 on a grave.
Correct, and that's
Yeah.
fine for people
Yeah.
that do that, but I don't think now you're gonna say, let's change it, now you're allowed to put 6 down there, but let's do this, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, 6 has been in there for a while,
So you're allowed to put 6 down in there, you just have to pay the opening and closing.
yes.
Okay, but now you're gonna charge for those 6 to go down there,
The extra
how much
cost.
more?
Half the value of the grave spaces as of today's prices.
With today's prices, see, you can't go back and do that, because what we paid way back is, you're saying a today's prices, which is,
Either 250 or 500.
right. So Dad paid 150, so now you're gonna tell me I have to pay half of 250 or 500?
Let's go ahead and go back to the attorney again.
Ashes are gonna be sitting on it.
And,
And right now, the resolution has been, a motion and seconded
yeah,
and voted on.
but we'll go back to the attorney.
I was trying to say something when he was doing that, but I didn't feel like I had the right to do that. Did you say wait till afterwards?
We'll contact the attorney, and under his advisement, we may have to rescind this
Okay.
and have a
I just think,
replacement.
I just don't.
Well, it's a good point.
It's not fair,
It's a good point, I understand that.
yeah. I mean, all the people that have already purchased or that have a plot,
And we should start with just new grave cells for
right,
the year.
How are you gonna keep track?
because they're
You
new.
know,
Oh,
But you
starting
don't
when
know
they
30.
purchase, you should have when they purchased it.
But they don't always tell us that when there's a burial. They just, 30 years down the road, someone won't know the difference. And
So is there no bookkeeping to go back and
No,
know
there's
when
bookkeeping.
people purchase?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Well, you have to figure something out.
we'll get with the attorney, we'll.
Okay, secondly, too, Chris, I like the idea of having leaf and branch pickup, whatever the thing, because I am sick of smelling the leaves being burned all the time, and you can't, it's kind of bad. So that's something I would like. Okay, so what I was on the agenda for is, I guess these are questions to the trustees, and since we have 2 here tonight, they're gonna be to Frankie and to Ted. So, as you understand in your title trustee pick, I always hope to be able to trust everything that you guys say, so I'm gonna ask you some questions, and I would hope that, I can get the correct truth on the answers. So, as you guys are both aware of, for years, we were coming in here telling you that the numbers weren't right with Rita and the Joel thing, okay? For years. So I want you to tell me what happened to spark the inquiry.
Can you speak up, they can't hear you.
Oh.
Can't hear what you're saying.
For years, we were in here telling the numbers didn't match up with the Rita Joel thing, okay? They didn't jive. So can you tell me what happened to spark the inquiry about the pay and the hours that have set all this into motion where things have changed?
I'm not following it again.
What sparked the inquiry into checking on, to finding out that things weren't quite right?
Well, I think the whole thing started a year ago, February, not this past February, but in the year 2017. Joel Davis had requested a $5 an hour raise, and both Frank and I were opposed to that. What happened over the course of the next several months, I took it upon myself to treat Joel as a business as opposed to an employee. I became the liaison to the IT department and established goals as to what would have to be his billable hours before he would become profitable to the township. During the course of that time, met with Mr. Park, we had several discussions, we established some guidelines on what he would have to do to be able to, again, become a profitable position to the township.
But you know, all along, you were telling us how much money he was making for the township, which wasn't correct, correct?
Was not correct.
It was not correct.
It was not.
But we didn't
Well,
know.
no, it was correct, he was making money to the township, but he was also costing money to the
Mhm.
township.
And that's what we tried to tell you guys, with the benefits that he was getting, the numbers didn't jive.
Yes, the legacy costs that were starting to accumulate and so forth. So, I met with Joel in June, and we established that I would be meeting with him on a monthly basis. We established what I felt was an appropriate break-even point, that he had to have billable hours outside the township, not just within the township, in order for him to remain as an employee. We monitored that, or I monitored it from July till November, and during that time, he was not making or doing what needed to be done to meet projections. So I had a serious meeting with him at year end, and in January of this year, we had a parting of the ways. So Joel we accepted his letter of resignation, and I believe his last day of employment was, don't hold me to this, but I think it was around February 7th. It was early February. And part of that agreement for him was to, we were going to turn over the accounts that he had serviced on behalf of Bazetta Township, and he was going to take sole possession of those accounts and treat them as his own business.
But there was a discrepancy in bookkeeping somewhere, correct? With what,
I don't know if it was a discrepancy. There's ways that numbers can be worked to whatever story you want to tell.
right, so there was some things going on that weren't on the up and up, is what let's, like with hours.
I don't know if there was anything.
Okay, so now that we knew there was some bookkeeping issues and that they existed for years, why was there not an audit done to protect when Jeannie was coming in? And I said that, why is there not an audit done? Because there were other questions about that, about things that were going on with the clerk and some different things with the park commission, with different things. Why was there not something done to make sure that everything was set for her coming in, that it was, that you couldn't go back and, like, that she wasn't going to get blamed for something?
Right.
Why wasn't there something done?
We did discuss that. There was an audit that was completed in August of 17, I think it was.
Something like that.
It started in June, I think it was, the report was released in August or September of 17. So we just basically had an audit. We could do an audit again.
Big audit
But
is
about $20,000 to $25,000.
25,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Um,
That's the big audit.
yeah.
Okay, what did we find out the amount now that Bazetta Township is saving by not having that position
Well,
and paying for those benefits? Was there something that was in the works getting figured out, that
yes,
there's an amount?
we've asked the fiscal officer to present us with a report at year's end, so that we would have a complete report. Looking at the figures, just as an example, the month of October, each department is billed separately by Mr. Davis. Initially, back in January, where the previous fiscal officer had budgeted $6,000 for the two, police department and fire department for expenses, and I think about 1,000 or 2,000 for road department. 1,200, okay. And each month, we were paying him for those services. And then, of course, it was the responsibility of the general fund to pick up whatever monies were not covered by outside services. So as we progressed through last year, that's when it was determined that this is not going to be viable.
I'm sorry, that's what I budgeted this year.
Yeah, oh, okay. I thought.
It may have been 2,000.
Yeah. So through the course of this year, I know that neither the road department or the fire department are anywhere near or close to their estimated, or their required budget. I think both of you are under 2,000 or
Yes.
close to 2,000?
I'm under 2,000.
So there's 8,000 there that's definitely gonna make
And
a
Joel
difference.
worked for what, 7 years?
Yes, I believe it
And
was
so how many years do you think approximately we were here fighting that?
7 years.
Okay.
So
So
anyway.
we'll get that at the end of the
Yeah.
year, there's gonna be,
Well,
it was a considerable amount of money that probably could have paved the roads, some of the roads for Bazetta Township. Is all, and I didn't agree with it. Is he working on any other position, what is he working in Bazetta Township now?
He's under contract to IT specialist.
Because he used to drive, did he not, for
He
the,
did.
and he's still not, he is not doing that? So the only thing he's doing is
Under contract
that,
with the
okay.
IT services.
So was Joel given a cash payment, or anything, and was there a cash payment suggested by the clerk, and what was that payment?
There was a cash payment suggested by the clerk, and it was, again, I'm trying to go by memory here, but it seems to me that it was in the neighborhood of about $18,000.
So Rita suggested that after Joel worked for 7 years for Bazetta Township, that was going to be, he was gonna get $18,000 when he left, and who stopped that?
I did.
Thank you, Ted, for stopping that. All right. Was the car that was provided to Joel considered a benefit?
Not under the true senses of the IRS.
What happened to that car, and how much did we sell it for?
Car has not been sold, it is still property of the Bazetta Township.
And where is the car?
It sits down in the road department.
It sits down there? Has it got license plates
It
on it?
does.
Is there insurance on it?
There is,
Is gas being put in it?
Sure.
yeah.
And where's it going?
Well, at this time, I'm not permitted to discuss this any further. We are under contract negotiations with the road department, and that is one of the issues that we are currently negotiating.
So, you're telling me someone else is driving that in?
Well, that was the trustees' car to begin with.
Yes,
Okay, is someone else driving that in the township?
yes.
And we're paying for the insurance, the gas, the license
Yeah.
plate? Okay,
The road department pays for it, don't they?
Yeah.
who drives it?
It was given our, to
Whatever.
the
So
road
who drives
department,
it? Who drives it?
whoever needs to use it. It's paid for by the road department. We repaired it after Joel left, it was kinda in shambles, and I told them if I have to repair it, it's gonna be ours.
Okay, so
Because
it's
it
just the
really
road
isn't-
department, and when,
It really isn't worth probably.
right, it's probably not, knowing, I remember seeing that car, but here is my reason for asking. Trumbull County just had an issue, it was in the paper, where one of their employees from the health department was at Champion Speedway and backed over an 80-some-year-old guy who was driving a Trumbull County car. I'm telling you right now, they're going to be sued. My question is, that's why I guess I thought it was sold, because I think I asked this question when Joel had this car. So if he gets in an accident, is Bazetta responsible? So if he killed somebody,
Currently, this car is only used during work hours, currently.
And Joel doesn't drive it.
It's been down to Columbus for
So-
training, it's, yeah.
so it's only driven during,
Right
work
now,
time.
it's only used during work time, currently.
okay, well, I'm just saying, he was on work time.
Joel would have been, yes.
No, and so was this Stephen Kramer that this happened to, and it kind of just
Okay.
hit me that, you go, okay, if these cars, now I understand, their cars are driven home or whatever, but if that car is being driven, and it's going off of there when it's not work time or whatever, I would think that would be something that wouldn't,
We have insurance, in fact, it had full coverage up until today.
Well, it still
Are
pretty
we?
much has it, but we would never, if it got in an accident, we're not gonna, it's gonna go to junk.
did Joel take that car home when he drove it?
No.
So is
No,
that
it
the
was
same
stored
thing
under-
that's happening now, it's staying here, it's only being driven during, that's what you're saying, it's only being driven during work time?
No, and again, I can't comment any further right now because it is a negotiated item also.
Okay, all right, will IT go out, if he's doing that, will IT go out for bid? Because we fought that before, that he was brought in here and it was not put up for bid. And I understand what, he has a contract with you guys?
He does, and we just received today a request for extension on that contract. Don't know if we can get it out to bid in time to have it effective January 1st. But the fiscal officer and I discussed that just before this meeting, that we would like to try and get it out for bid.
I personally don't think he should have been working here without that being out for bid back 7 years when he started, and you guys knew that. So if you took him in and have a contract for a year, you guys have had a year to be able to put that up and to try to go ahead and put it out for bids and see if there's somebody else. Because I don't think that I believe that he didn't know that, he had some help in the inner workings of the township, kind of like, whatever, let's just say it like it is, padding his hours, making sure he's gonna get a severance package, making sure he was hired. So I don't know what constituted even the fact that he was allowed to stay in the township after that. So I would appreciate it if you would put his job out for bid. So, I do, I think that should go out.
We've talked about that before. I mean, we just need to get it done. 2 weeks notice, we put it around the 25th.
One more thing. And it's been a thorn in my side for years if you're doing contracts. Is there still a clothing allowance for the secretary?
Once again, I can't discuss that this time. We're
I
under.
don't agree with that either.
Once the contract.
Don't agree with that either.
Once the contract is settled, you can ask.
What
any
is that
question.
clothing allowance for this year?
Can't say.
You can't say it, know what they're getting? What's in the
We're in
contract?
We're in negotiations right now.
Okay.
We're hoping to have that contract.
That's what I asked him, he said they can't say. So you can't say what they got the previous year?
Right now,
You can't say nothing.
Right now, we're under negotiations. I mean, you can go to serve and pull up the contract and see
Well,
it.
I'm just going back for memory, 9? I don't know why I was thinking 900. Is that about right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
Is that about right?
But,
Can
Okay.
I say something?
sure.
Sure.
Now, I did drive that car all summer long, to and from work. I just want to be honest with you, just so you know. And now I'm not driving it to and from work, I'm driving the truck because it's winter time.
Driving what truck?
The white pickup that is the township's. But that is in
So wait a minute, Chris.
negotiations right now.
So, wait a minute, Chris, so you're telling me you have a car paid
I've always had one,
for,
since
Yeah, well-
2009. It's actually in my job description that I will be provided, a company vehicle as long as I limit my personal use, which my limits are
well, I can
the
see
bank
you
on the way
using one
home.
from here, but I don't believe that driving to and from work.
It's in my job description. I don't know what to tell you.
Was that in your job
Wait,
description?
I wanna
I've had a car
stop this
40 years.
conversation.
I'm just being
I don't
honest.
get-
We're under contract negotiations here, so.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm just being honest.
Okay,
We just need to stop, okay?
Yeah.
okay, all right.
I don't wanna get a fair labor.
Oh, you're good.
No, I don't want it, so.
All right.
We stop right now.
I'm done.
Okay, once that contract is ratified, you can ask all these questions again, and we will certainly answer in good faith. We're hoping to have that done by year's end, if we can, that's our ultimate goal, so. Okay, I will now open it up to public comment. Please come forward, state your name.
Robin McBride. I'd like to change the subject. First, I'd probably start, I agree with her on that, with the cemetery. I don't think we can go backwards. I mean, that's almost as bad as speed cameras.
Yeah, we're big for it.
Yeah, I'm just voicing that I agree with her. I think that's way off, you know, that's as bad as speed cameras. Chris, I would tell you this, I disagree with her on the leaves and chipping the limbs. I tell you, you check with David from Highland Township, that thing is a nightmare with them. They have people cutting whole trees down, placing them out there by the street, and then what happens is, on our major roadways through here, then the
leaves go down, they're gonna.
well, no, then what you need is you're gonna have guys chipping limbs, then you're gonna need a police cruiser behind them, you're tying up a cruiser to keep them from getting killed.
I just said
On
leave.
it, you talk to David down there, David will fully inform you, they do it twice a year, and it creates a lot of stuff, there's places to pay to go dump, there's people, we know plenty of people that can pick up your leaves, and we have a zoning guy for people who burns leaves. So we have all the right people.
It's the fire chief.
Yeah.
And a fire chief, right, all they gotta do is call the fire department, because they're gonna watch it. And to the trustees, I really, from the last meeting when the park board was here, and they said they had that one bid for $4,100 to spray and seal that. I don't believe they really did a good job, because they should have, if they didn't, if they're getting a bid, they should get a bid that compares apples to apples. Because to my knowledge, that OP, the pressure wash guy, he does do both. Whether he was not informed, I don't know, but if they didn't get one, then they should get another one from someone else. I think that's pretty high, you know, to do that, especially when they're about broke anyways on there. But, let's see. Acting chief. How long was that Burns with the department, do you know?
He was hired in July full-time,
Oh, just this, how long did he work part-time?
about a year.
Okay. How long was Chief Hubbs with the department, do you know?
94, he was hired in
26 years.
Just curious, you know, how long he's here. And the other thing is, what's the value of the duty weapon? You guys know those?
Well,
Are those $40,000?
Yeah, 600, I believe.
well, let me clarify that. That was supposed to be $100, but it's a typo in the contract, so we agreed, we can't change it.
Yeah.
It's back, what, 12. I contacted Chief Miller, and I asked him what he paid for his, and he said $100.
Yeah.
So, it's a typo.
Well, when you say typo, what do you mean, Frank? When you
Instead of
wrote it up,
$100, it says $1 in
In the
the contract.
contract, in their contract?
Yeah,
it says $1.
yeah.
Whose mistake was that?
Dawn and I's, Dawn or check,
You guys should have to make up the other $99.
yeah. It's something to look over, and the period's in the wrong place, the decimal point.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you change that in the new contract?
My way of thinking is don't do it. Here's the thing, you're gonna allow this gun to go out. You're gonna turn around and hire another, police officer. You're gonna pay another $500-600 for a gun. Don't make
Exactly.
sense.
I agree.
What, I think we discussed this too when I talked to you before about, when we hired new people on the police department. What's the deal with when they get there? Are they all required to wear a vest?
Yes.
All the time? So we don't have a problem like Ferrari did,
Right.
right? Okay. And what does it cost one of those vests?
$600 to $800.
Okay. And I think we
Most
talked.
of them are, we try to receive a grant,
Yeah. If we're lucky enough to get a grant, we get reimbursed half usually.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is, are we trying to, like, if we're paying for one like this Corey guy's leaving, and then does he take that vest with him because it probably just fits him? Or do we, when they first join, what's the deal, like if you work here 3 months and we spent $800 for one, and you decide to go to the sheriff's department, do you get to take it, or does it stay here? I mean, why are we?
I believe you get to take it, but we didn't before, but now we prorate it back. If they leave within a certain amount of time, then they have to pay back a portion of it.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay.
That was something that was changed.
Sure.
I think these vests are measured for each person.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, well, I understand it, but it's still, if they're only
Right.
if they're only here 6 months, and it's $800, they should just get to walk with it. You know, that's the main, we could be buying vests for, you know.
Sure.
What does a police officer start at, full-time?
16, 20 something.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, next.
Paul Carlson, Lake Shore Drive, just a quick question. Chris gave a overview of a variety of different approaches to a road levy, but on the agenda, we passed an item that indicates that we're going to take bids to do Beaver Trail. Can someone explain as to how we have the money to do Beaver Trail, but yet we are putting forth a levy that
I can answer that, if you don't mind. Yeah, whenever I go out for a grant, I make up a spreadsheet and I curtail all of my projects to meet their requirements. And I've seen a little bit of a loophole that I took advantage of, and we're technically not putting any local shares in that project at the beginning of the project. The county does the engineering, I get that, they give us, as a township, they give us their engineering costs as part of my local share or in-kind service. So that adds up to, I think, $5,500. I got it here. And then we had the OPWC shares was 54%. That added up to, this was the grant amount was $58,700, that is the loan value amount, $58,712.04. Now, the rest of the local shares was 46%, that adds up to $50,013.96, but that's payable at 0% over 15 years. This is the second time that the township, and this comes out of my budget, so I get 15 years to pay back $50,000. It comes right off the top of my budget. I don't even know that it's really in my budget because the county takes it before I even get it. So, yeah, they changed the rules shortly after I got that project. Same with our PDR, our partial depth repairs that I did on McCleary Jacoby. Nobody else ever got a partial depth repair except for us, and then they changed the rules. But I try to exploit all of their requirements to suit our needs, and we're pretty successful at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Come forward.
Jan Salaz, Ivyville. I have just a couple simple questions. You're gonna repave Beaver Trail, how was that chosen?
That was just as bad as probably that one, Beaver Trail and Wilshire Drive were about a tie.
How many residents there?
200 on the street or in that
The
development.
portion that you're gonna repave?
I really couldn't tell you. I know there's about 216 houses down in there.
Trustee Webb, a couple of months ago, I was here and you spoke briefly about a gas aggregation, natural gas, and I haven't heard anything further about that. I I even messaged the building here and didn't get a reply.
You can go on the State of Ohio's, aggregation programs. Matter of fact, I got on it here about a month and a half ago.
All right?
There, it's, I'm trying to think, it's an energy,
Oh, the OEP project,
yeah,
yeah.
and then you go on and you do the sort. I joined in with, energy, I can't remember, I can get that information.
I was just trying to figure out which one had offered the aggregation.
Well, if you go on it, there's a drop-down that shows different counties that are in the aggregation.
Okay.
And Trumbull County is in that, and then in Trumbull County, that lists about 15 communities that are participating in that.
All right, if you could recall which one you got, I'd be interested to look at that if you could let me know.
Yeah, I think it was called Direct Energy. They were out of Akron, Ohio. And for the gas portion, I got on it, I could get on it for 14 months for $3.09, or I could go on it for 2.5 years for $3.50. And on the electric portion, they also offered the electric. And on the electric, I joined that one for 5.1 cents per kilowatt hour.
All right.
So, I mean, they were very, very competitive with the aggregations.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
is there anyone else that needs or would like to make public comment?
Can I have one more thing? You drive your own vehicle?
I do.
If anybody should have a vehicle.
We started that before and it failed.
But do you get paid for mileage?
Not within the township,
What?
not within the township.
If he goes to a
I've not
meeting,
asked for it, let me put it that way.
if he goes to a meeting in Columbus or outside the township, we reimburse him mileage, but.
If you look at that and you think about it and what makes sense, your zoning inspector is the one that,
I've not
you
complained.
know how I feel about it. You know how I feel about zoning.
Okay, we got 315-18 to set date and time for year-end meeting. I think we were kind of looking at 27th or 28th.
First one came on the 28th.
Yeah, let's do it for like, I'm gonna be coming back from Columbus on the 27th. If we could do it for like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the
That's the only day I go.
Perfect. 4 p.m., 3 p.m.
Oh,
I'll be back to around 1 or 2.
that's as early?
Yeah, I think it is.
Can you make it at 1:30?
Up to.
2 o'clock? All right. Well,
Let's see, set a date, so that would be December 27th at 2 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, if I add one thing for the record, please. The last week of December, I'll be available by phone, email, or text. My daughter's getting married.
Oh.
Christmas is Monday, Tuesday.
Right, Tuesday.
And then on that following Friday, or Saturday, my daughter's getting married. So I'm gonna not have office hours that week.
That week, that's fine, that's
no
understandable.
problem.
Why not? Gotta pay for the wedding somehow, don't you?
I don't want to be subject to public comment.
Okay, set the time and date for year-end meeting, December 27th, 2 p.m. Is there a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just on that, our department heads are required to be there.
You're in?
Not normally, I mean,
I'm just asking, if
Yeah,
you said yes, I'm gonna ask to be excused.
We may give you a phone call.
Okay, that's fine.
normally it's just to clean up
Yeah.
the loose ends
Yes.
of the year and set times and dates.
Yeah, that's fine, I just,
So, yeah, that would, now, department heads will not be required to back so.
thank you.
Chairman, that's report.
Okay.
Stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn at what time was it, 7:54?
Yeah.
You made the motion. second it. Trustee Park?
Yes.
Yes. Meeting is adjourned.